Yo, what's good? Shout out to my Panther fans. Shout out to my Seattle fans. And shout out to Dallas Cowboys. Let's get it started.
Straight completions for Walker.
So, yo, if you don't know, my name is Keith. I do Black Quarterback Series. So today, initially, I'm going to be a full transparency and we're going to get right to the video. I was not going to cover the Panthers. I just assumed that they were going to come in there, get destroyed, and I was not going to have to mention PJ at all. And I thought it was going to be a footnote, and that's it. They get in their own section as requested by people on Instagram and just by their overall play, right? And so the theme of this video, if this week is just enough. And that theme came from the Panthers and PJ Walker. PJ Walker was 16 for 22, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. Foreman was 15 carries, 118 yards. 118 yards. They did just enough to win. They did nothing special by any stretch of their imagination. When I say they did nothing special, the only thing they did special was play good football. And I guess you could say that's special, considering what the Panthers have been going through up until this point. I really don't have much to even say about it for real. They should have had 3 picks on Brady. They dropped 3 picks. 1 in the first half, 2 in the second half. It was the DJ Moore show in the first half. He was 7 receptions, 69 yards and a touchdown. And they played them, the Bucks. They played the Bucks pretty even for the most part. But you could just tell the way the game was flowing. And I'm gonna get to this later when I talk about Geno. You could just tell that they had the game. The Bucks were not able to make that one play that took them over the top, and the Panthers were able to make that play. PJ Walker played well. He played a good floor game, quote unquote, right? He didn't make any mistakes. He didn't make any huge mistakes, and I'm glad to see that he's still holding on to a spot in the NFL. I expect him to start next week. I don't know why he wouldn't start next week. Even if Baker Mayfield is healthy, I would start PJ and just whatever happens. I'm just surprised. I am surprised with the Panthers and how well they played. Now, granted, the Bucks are not very good, and we're realizing that the Bucks are not very good and Tom Brady's old. But that doesn't take away from how well this 1-5 team played. Good game, really, really good game. I really don't have much to say, but I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud of TJ Walker, and you guys deserved it. The Panther fans definitely deserved it. And so now, what I was going to lead this show with was Dak's return. And so with Dak's return, he was 19 for 25, 207 yards and a touchdown. He did nothing special. I think Cooper Kupp would have won that game too if he was in there. They rushed 14. They rushed for 191 yards. Zeke had 2 touchdowns. Zeke looked really good. Like I said, as a team, they rushed for almost 200 yards. Great defense, as usual. It was a Dallas Cowboys type game. They won a Dallas Cowboys type game. Dak didn't mess it up. That's the good thing I can say. Dak didn't mess it up. They didn't lose, and they're trucking along, holding on until, whether we want to believe it or not, might be the best division of football in the NFC East. So, yeah. So, good play by Dallas. Good play by Dallas. I'm very impressed with how they did nap it up. And so, moving on with the theme of doing just enough, we get to the freaking Baltimore Ravens. And as a Baltimore fan, I think I should come out and say this. Cleveland got screwed out of that field goal. There was no foul there. There was no false start there. That was a home cooking call. There was no reason that call should have been made at that time in that play with those circumstances. Should have not been called. I'm on record saying that. But at the end of the day, it happens, I guess. So Lamar didn't play well today either. He had a C game. He had a C game against what's a very underperforming defense. If Deshaun played this game, they probably would have won this game too. And that's been the theme the last, month. So Jackson was 9 for 16, 120 yards, 10 rushes for 59 yards. But Gus Edwards, welcome back, was the star of the show. 16 carries, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ugly, drawn out win that if the receivers make some more catches at the beginning and they convert those field goals that should have been touchdowns at the beginning, this game is probably a lot further away than it should have been. If I add all their scores, we're talking about it should have been 43-20, honestly, or somewhere around there. But this is also the team that probably should be 7-0. So, win is a win. Unfortunately, they shouldn't have won like this. This team has a lot of questions. Lamar is costing himself a lot of money. He's cost himself probably a good $100 million already, maybe $150 million, because they're winning. They won, okay, but if he was 7-0, it was going to be very hard to not give him his money. He needs to play better. He has not played well since the first half of the Dolphins game. He's played okay the rest of the season. With Brissett, it's time for Brissett to go sit down. He's 22 for 27, 258 yards. But Nick Chubb is the guy. And by say sit down, I mean he needs to sit down and let Deshaun handle the rest of the game. But Deshaun's coming back. They get Deshaun back week 11. But anyway, Nick Chubb, 16 carries, 91 yards, a touchdown. And there were some plays at the end of the game that I was like, this is Jacoby Brissett. Why are y'all letting Jacoby run for a first down? What are we doing? So, I guess good game, but there are a lot of questions on both sides of this coin. And I was talking, I forgot who I was talking to, but I was like, how is Cleveland going to ruin this game? And that false start call was the way they ruined it. At no point did I think they were going to lose to Cleveland, because Cleveland just shoots himself in the foot. I'm done believing in Cleveland until Watson gets back. And that'll be in week 11. So any other week, Kansas City would have been the first game that I talked about. And I'd have talked about how great Mahomes was and how Mahomes should be in the MVP race and how he's doing this with Tyreek Hill and all the great glowing things about him. I'm still going to do that, but just judging how much stuff we had going on, he was on the back of my sheet. I don't think he's ever been on the back of the sheet, just compared to what everybody else did. So Mahomes was 25 for 34, 423 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. Juju Smith-Schuster was 7 receptions, 124 yards, and a touchdown. Valdez-Scantling, 3 receptions, 111 yards. Jimmy G was wheeling and dealing up until like maybe around the second half or second quarter when he threw that interception. I don't know, it's like his light bulbs went off the other way. Like, how sometimes you click, the light bulbs go out. No, it went off. Between giving up a safety and just not making the right throws, and like they were playing them almost to a head, They were playing them very, very well. But then Mahomes turned it up and they ended up outscoring the 49ers 30-10 in the second half, and that was pretty much it. Like, the game was over midway through the fourth quarter when it was close most of the game. So this is why they were ready to move on from Jimmy G, because when he goes up against another top guy like that, he looks second, third dairy, He played well in the first half, but I don't know, he fell completely off. And now, back to my theme about doing just enough to win. Geno Smith. He is the embodiment of doing just enough to win. He was 20 for 27, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. And it was a bad pass. It was a tip. There was a lot of bad things in that pass to where it led to an interception. Walker, I can't remember his first name. Walker, he was 23 carries, 180 yards, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 74 of those yards was on one huge run for a touchdown. that pretty much sealed it for them. They didn't make a lot of mistakes on offense. Other than the fumble by number 11, they didn't make very many mistakes on offense. Geno was playing how we thought Russ would play. He's playing how we thought Russ would play, and this is crazy dynamic. I think Pete Carroll should be coach of the year. Just the standards that we had on this team, and they're not falling. Like, we thought they'd be in the lottery. They're leading their division, and y'all think I'm crazy? I'm gonna put up the thing right here. They're leading their division. They're 4-3. The rest of the division is not very good. The Cardinals are underperforming. The 49ers are taking a step back, and the Rams are underperforming. This game was not close. This was not close. It was only close at 17-14, and then Seattle took off. And it's not like they took off into like Mahomes type of takeoff where it was just methodically down the field. We're going to score a touchdown. We're going to get a field goal. We're going to get a stop here. We might get another touchdown. We're going to kick another field goal. Like, it was just death by 1,000 knives. And you look up and you're bleeding out. That's the way Seattle beat. That's the way Seattle wins, or at least this game in general. And we need to have a conversation about Seattle. And this is hyperbolic as hell, so I might clip this. Is Seattle a title contender? They have the same record as the Ravens. They have a better record than the Chargers. And it's another team that have a better record. I'm going to have to look. They have better record than some teams that we thought were going to be huge title contenders. Like, this is a really, like my guy, sports guy Matt said on Instagram, this is a very balanced year. So I'm loving what Seattle doing. So we got one more game this week. If you did not watch my review on the Bears game, it should be right here at the end. And if you want to check out what I've done up to this point, it'll be right here. And I'll see you guys Thursday. Peace. Enjoy football.